Scary.
There
Hello.
we are.
Hello. Are we online? We are live. Oh my goodness. We are live. We are live. We are live. Sorry about that. You may have caught the preamble of me going, oh my God, are we live? But yes, we are. This is the first ever Kiss by Fire live stream. Hello. We have a viewer, which is very exciting. There's
Yay.
at least
Hello, our
one
viewer.
person here.
Hello,
Hi.
say hello.
Well, this was all a bit like last minute. Oh, and I've just had an email from YouTube saying that we're actually live, so that's good.
Good.
Yay!
Confirmation is good. Yay. We're here.
But yeah, we're this is our first one. Oh, Joe Magician's waving. That's nice, Joe.
Hello.
Hi, Joe. This is our first one. This is all about season 2 of the HOTD. It's dropping tomorrow for everyone in the world apart. Well, in people in America and Canada. I'm gonna have to get up at 2 a.m. to watch it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I know.
It'll be worth it. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Hello,
Oh, Sanri.
Sanri.
Hi, Sanri. Hello. Yeah, so hopefully it'll be worth it. I got up to watch season 8 Game of Thrones at 2 a.m.
That was not worth it.
That was not worth it.
No.
It was my birthday as well.
Oh.
It was my birthday. And I was like, it's a present to me. And
it was not.
It was not.
This is close to mine. Obviously, tomorrow is Father's Day in much of the Western world here, but also my birthday is next Wednesday. So I think of it a little bit like a birthday present. So it better be good. I almost cursed. I think we're not going
to be. Well, we're going to be ready for it. It's dropping. It's exciting. I think it's apt that it's Father's Day, considering there are a number of fatherly relationships
true.
in there that are interesting. Uncly father, our father/uncles, you know,
uncle daddies,
uncle
daddies in the series.
So we're going to start out by just talking about the first season a little bit, recapping where it's been left off, the main characters' thoughts, and we're going to try after that to do some predicciones. That's a new word on what we think is going to come this season, and just basically get you ready and get you excited for all that is to come. Please do add comments, questions. If you're our patrons, you can jump the queue, but just please ask things. We already have a question from one of our patrons, which we will answer a bit later. But we're going to do about an hour here today because everyone's got stuff to do. It's Saturday night. It's Saturday night right here. It's still daylight because I'm in Scotland, and
it's late for you. It's like 10 o'clock, right?
It's 10 o'clock, but it's still basically sunlight because I live very close to the North Pole. Hi, Mr. J.
Mr. J.
Hello. So
the humorous. It's honesty. We're gonna be like an hour. Goodbye.
We're gonna be an hour. That's it. I know we are known for very, very long episodes for our podcast. So we're like, we can do this. We can manage to.
It doesn't help that you're setting us off track just talking about how we're gonna do it.
We're gonna get it done though. This is gonna happen.
We can do it. Yes.
Yep. I'll see you at 1 a.m. So anyway, so where did we begin? What is the story of the HOTD? There is many characters. As you can see, I've gone for Targ colors today. We've got Targaryen things. It's very Targ heavy.
Good old HOTD.
Yeah, it's a Targ heavy story, isn't it? I think some people actually did complain a little bit because they were used to Game of Thrones being
where there's a bit more branch out. And the cool thing with this show too, though, is it almost sort of is centric on like the people we didn't see in Thrones or Song of Ice and Fire. There's a lot less of the major players.
I know. There's loads of, I mean, you know how I feel. You know what I'm like about minor houses. And there's so many extras. There's House Fell and House, what's his name? The one who is first to be hanged. And who's
Karen, I think.
Karen. Yeah, House Karen.
Beesbury.
Yeah. Oh my God. I know.
Too soon.
Very sad. I know. I just rewatched that episode the other day, and it breaks my tiny heart.
Yeah.
My frozen heart is broken because he was a lovely character.
Loved him.
But anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Yeah. We're getting ahead of ourselves.
As usual.
We've already not sticking to the schedule.
The plan. Yes. So we're trying to recap.
Yeah.
Important recap.
important people
began kind of and where they wound up, right?
It's very much in King's Landing and the Red Keep. We have two best friends, which is a change from the book if anyone is bookish.
As we are.
Indeed. Alicent and Rhaenyra Targaryen. I don't even, what's this show called again? Targaryen. And Alicent Hightower. And they're in the show, they are best friends, same kind of ages, not the same as the book, where they're kind of like they're different ages and stuff. Alicent's a bit older, and
Alicent's older. They're just a little bit more. They're off doing their own things. They're not as definitely not as close.
And they both end up motherless because Rhaenyra's mother dies in childbirth, giving birth to Viserys. That's the dad of Rhaenyra. So at the top is Viserys. His child is Rhaenyra by Emma Arryn. And that is his only child for a very long time. And unfortunately, in Westerosi society, it seems to be a given that the heir to the throne cannot be a girl. So he's desperate. Like, he's putting babies in Emma Arryn.
Well, and there was a precedent that we should probably start, because the show starts with the Great Council and sort of sets a precedent.
Well, let's roll it back again. There's the Great Council.
That's
what I mean by the
This was the problem when I was trying to write the document in general, was like, okay, but then there was this in here.
Anyway, just start with that. Let me just go back. Should we just start in 0 BC? Aegon the Conqueror arrives.
We have a podcast for you to listen to if you're confused. No, I just wanted to so the problem with Rhaenyra being there, everyone has already seen season 1, so this recap is probably
it's probably
anyway, you don't need to move point. But the precedent being that Rhaenys, the queen that never was not chosen over Viserys being the heir, even though her claim would have been stronger if it was based on just birth order.
Indeed. Although that is again a slightly show change, because it was actually in the books, it was Laenor who was being looked at as the heir, wasn't it?
Yes.
But anyway, it doesn't matter, because in the show they were like, no, it's easier to put it Rhaenys versus Viserys. That's much easier. And she was poo-pooed, and Viserys
to put it professionally.
That's how it works.
Yes.
The maester stands up at the end and says, Rhaenys poo-poo.
Rhaenys
poo-poo.
No women on the throne.
No women. Women are not allowed, and you cannot even inherit through a woman. So and that so they don't like that. But Rhaenyra is the only child of Viserys for a very long time.
Yes. He's trying to choose to supplant her uncle, who is just not suited for the throne.
Well,
not suited for the throne in the view of the small council.
In the view of Otto Hightower,
correct.
We've mentioned Hightower. That's Alicent Hightower. That's her dad, who is Hand of the King. Shady shit. He's the worst.
He's the second worst.
No, I think he's the worst, actually.
No, I think he's the second.
No, he's the worst. He's the actual worst.
He's the actual second worst.
But Alicent and Rhaenyra are good friends, but Rhaenyra's mother, who's had to have lots and lots of babies because we must have a son, and Viserys is a dreamer, and he's like, I've seen my son on the throne. You've got a dreamer. I'm a dreamer. You've got to have babies, blah blah blah. But she dies in childbirth. Viserys needs a new wife, and he chooses not a particularly good political match. There was a good political match of
but that was icky.
It was icky, but it was a way better political match.
Yes,
it would have been Laena Velaryon.
The better political match would have been Laena Velaryon, but she wouldn't have been able to provide heirs for quite some time, because she was very, very
But they still chose an icky match, because it's like, I was trying to put myself in the shoes. So he chooses Alicent, best friend of Rhaenyra. And I was genuinely thinking, when I was rewatching it just recently, going, how would I feel if my dad, because my parents divorced, and I thought, what would I do if my dad decided he wanted to be with my best friend? Honestly, in the words of Scottish people everywhere, made me want to boke.
It's icky. It's gross. Yeah,
it is gross.
It's gross, but I think it's still more acceptable than Lena.
Yeah, probably. But either way, and also it's icky because Alicent kind of ended up being
her best friend's stepmom.
Yeah, but also she ended up in that position because her dad, the worst, Otto, was like, hey, why don't you go comfort the king? Here's a sexy dress for you to wear. It's one of your mum's. Everything about that is gross.
Everything about it is gross.
Choose one of your mum's sexy dresses to go and
grooming.
I know, it's fucking awful.
And poor Alicent has that bad habit of picking her nails because
she has her picking her nails. I know. I know that there were changes to the book, as we've mentioned, but I actually quite liked it. I didn't mind it. I don't love changes to books in general, but it's not one that I went, this is awful, I can't take it.
I think they've worked to make Alicent more fleshed out and not relatable necessarily, but
she's less of a Disney
worthy
villain.
of compassion and stuff, right? Yeah. Because she's being so used by her father.
Yeah, definitely. And she's not just a straightforward villain, because it is easy to, if you're just reading the book,
it would be very dull.
As a baddie, it would be really dull. So anyway, the brother of Viserys should really technically be the heir. His name is Daemon, but according to Otto Hightower, he's unsuitable, couldn't possibly. So he basically forces Viserys name Rhaenyra and don't let Daemon be your heir. And I have many thoughts and feelings on this. Obviously, girl power. Rhaenyra should be it, but also I think Otto Hightower is an absolute buttface who is the main reason that Daemon is the way he is. I'll go into more details on that later. And the main reason why Viserys and he have basically a terrible, he's a wedge. He is a wedge between them.
He's a wedge. He, I think it's safe to say that he chose to set Rhaenyra in place of Daemon because she was just easier to manipulate, and because she's young enough that it's sort of just easier to be like, oh, never mind, sweetheart, you can go back to being a woman job now. There's boys. Because
even though they name her as heir, they treat her like shit anyway, and so she's like still the king's
belittle her and talk down to her.
She's got no place on the council. When she speaks up for various things, he's like, dear, why don't you go and do a little girly job?
We need to do something else,
something more suitable.
But at the same time, we haven't really touched on Rhaenyra yet, but she has a lot of entitlement anyway. So
she is. I have very mixed feelings about Rhaenyra as well. She's not the hero everyone thinks she is.
I love her. Yes, but on this particular rewatch, I was just like, wow, she's super entitled.
Yeah,
and I think I had my rose-colored glasses on when I watched it the first time. I was just swooning for her in the show. But she's really entitled.
But we'll talk about her as well. We're going to talk about characters in a minute. But so she's been the named heir. But then Alicent marries Viserys and then has babies, including sons, Aegon, after the Conqueror. And so people are asking questions. People are saying, like, should Rhaenyra still be there?
Not even asking questions. They're sort of just making assumptions. Just assuming that she'll be supplanted.
But I think the fact is that Viserys, as they show in the show, not necessarily in the book, so let's just focus on the show canon here. He never fully, and for a long while, never fully just says, she's my heir.
Yeah.
Get over it.
He does early on, but after Aegon's birth, he never actually just jumps up and says nothing has changed.
Nothing's changed.
It's all still the same.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no reassurance for Rhaenyra.
No.
Or the realm.
Right? And people are like, well, there's a boy now, so that's just so there are sons, and then Rhaenyra's virtue as a lady is brought into question by Otto Hightower. For reasons we'll talk about again later, whether she maybe slept with her uncle or someone else, but finally someone went, hey, Otto's a butthead, for questioning the princess and the king's word. He shouldn't be hanged, so he's sacked. And a lovely person. Yay, how strong. I want comments from How Strong stands tonight, because it's all about How Strong. But so Lionel Strong, well, Lord Lionel Strong, because he's the Lord of Harrenhal, he becomes the new Hand of the King, and he's the best guy ever. And what happens to him? I want justice for Lionel. Yes, Joe. Joe Magician, the How Strong stan. Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, we knew who you were calling out, Steph.
But there got to be more. There are more of us. There are dozens of us out there. How Strong family.
Yes.
They're my favorite. They're just the best. And that is a fact. So he's replaced by Lionel Strong, and we get this time jump as well at this point in the show, and then all the people are older and shit happens. So much.
Laris is not helping. No,
Laris does not help, but he's not. I don't know. Is he? He's not a true strong. Not deep down inside.
I mean,
he's a sneaky strong. He doesn't have, the seed is strong, but not with Laris.
That's mean. The guy's disabled and everything.
I know, but he's he's horrible. But we haven't even mentioned him. Laris, man. He is.
Maybe we start with like Lionel and then his two sons at court, Harwin and Lionel.
He's got Lionel and Harwin.
Laris.
In fact,
Laris.
God, they're all the same. Laris.
Well, yeah.
Laris got the foot, not the seed, says Sanrixian. Yeah, exactly. So Lionel has Harwin, who's called Breakbones, who's said to be one of the biggest, strongest guys in
AKA Big Daddy Strong. We like him.
We like him.
We like him.
And Laris is, and so he's on the Gold Cloaks. In fact, he becomes head of the city guard, the Gold Cloaks. And Laris is the Clubfoot, who is a sneaky. He's awesome in his own way. Like, he is sneaky and cool, and he goes and sits with people and listens in to court gossip and
but like
in a creepy way.
It's like, when did you get here? When you've been listening to this whole conversation, we didn't even know that you were in the room.
And there are theories. Again, shout out to Joe Magician here. There's a theory that he's actually a skin changer into the rats, because there's a lot of rats. We see rats a lot.
Yeah.
In it. So it could be possible. But he's it's possible that his mother was a Blackwood, so he has warging abilities. But I'm going down tinfoil. I'm not going to do too much tinfoil today. This is not what we need. That'll cause the stream to be 5 hours long.
Also, start us arguing. I'll be like,
no,
he's not.
No. But anyway, so he's got those two kids, and Laris is he's the jailer. He's like the chief of the torturers and the jailers and the spies. He's that's his job at court. And then Rhaenyra has to get married. She's forced. She marries Laenor Velaryon, who is sorry, I'm just looking at Joe's thing. Yes, twin foils convinced me. Yes. Blackwoods and Brackens feud in the Strongs. Yes. Anyway, so Rhaenyra marries, what's his name? Laenor Velaryon, who is also gay. Oh my god, I feel like it's like a soap opera. And then it turns out his mother's an uncle, and it actually usually is, because it's the Targaryens, and they fucking are incestuous. And he was a secret nun all along. And actually, that does happen in Fire and Blood. There is a secret nun. Rhaella. So she marries him, but he's gay, so he won't have babies with her. So she has babies with.
They do try.
They do try.
They try. She said, "I had hoped to have your children,"
but she has 3 strong babies with Harwin Strong, and I feel regrets that we didn't see more of that. I wanted to see more of Harwin and Rhaenyra together, because I felt like the chemistry was really good and really great, and I felt real love there, and I was like, I want more of this, because then he dies, he gets burnt to death by his brother with his father. Just saying, they all get burnt alive in Harrenhal.
Important to note, though, that the rest of the realm doesn't know for sure that those children aren't Laenor's, and so there's big speculation.
It's speculation.
Their
bloodline do look like Strongs. They've got brown hair.
Yeah, they're Strongs. We know, the viewers know they're Strongs. I just mean that the rest of the one of the big rifts that comes because they're technically illegitimate.
Yeah. Technically, no one knows. We recently had a really good question on our podcast about what should happen if it was if it was possible to prove it, and we had quite a good chat about that.
We did.
Like, as in, should Rhaenyra be disinherited? Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But so yeah, they're Harwins, definitely, but people don't know. Speculation, and Alicent's really angry about this. And she complains.
Alicent is now after. So the reason Alicent is like all over Rhaenyra is because we skipped over this because Rhaenyra had her scandalous night, maybe with Daemon, maybe not. Turns out she actually slept with Criston Cole, who's
Criston Cole,
who we haven't actually talked about yet. Yeah. Who is the actual worst? He is the worst. I can't stand him.
I think Otto Hightower is the worst. He pimps out his daughter. Criston Cole is just, I don't like throwing this word around, but he's just an incel, which is pretty awful. But Otto Hightower pimps his child out, and listen, I don't know.
I don't like what Otto does. I don't know. It's not like he's like pimping her out in the sense that it's like, like what Tywin does to Tyrion's first wife. Like, it's, it's not good, but it's not that bad, that level of bad either. Criston Cole gets pissy with Rhaenyra when she declines his offer to run away with him and get married because they slept together. And so he's dishonored and not worthy of anything. And then he butchers Laenor's.
But it annoys me because, like, I feel like they should have just had a longer conversation, and she just sort of let him down a bit more gently and just, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but he's a big old crybaby. He's the worst. I can't stand
him. I know, but he really has a whole. He calls her a selfish C word. I don't know if I should say that just in case I put people off, but he has a weird thing about women. Like, it's kind of like a Madonna whore thing. You're either pure or you are totally impure and not worthy of anything.
Yep.
And he has that. She's like perfect and wonderful, and she doesn't want to run away with him and live in Tyrosh or whatever it is and sell oranges, whatever his dreams are. And so he's like, you're the worst. And he totally turns against her, and he does some murder. Let's not get into all of that. Like, he kills a guy at her wedding.
Yeah, but that's important, right? He kills
Laenor's lover is murdered at the wedding.
But he never has any consequences. He just continues to get away with everything too.
He does. So
then Alicent takes him in and makes him her sworn shield instead of Rhaenyra's.
And her creature. So she's got like Criston Cole and Larys Strong, who
she's got people in her pocket.
She's got people in her pocket. She's got Criston Cole, who thinks that she is the most perfect image of the mother. And she also has Larys, who is obsessed with her feet. Has a sexy.
It was an odd thing for the show to add.
It was a bit weird, but hey, whatever. I think it shows kind of Alicent is willing to, do whatever it takes.
Yeah, it's funny. I wonder what Criston Cole would do if he learned that she was pimping out her feet.
I know
how he would feel at her virtue.
What I'm interested in is what our viewers think. Who is the worst? Is it Otto Hightower or is it Criston Cole? I can see arguments for both, but I want you to know. Tell us. Put in the comments who you think is the worst, Criston Cole or Otto Hightower. But yeah, so Larys Strong kills his family and inherits Harrenhal.
He does. Yes, exactly. Yes. Just they're all bad.
So Alan. Oh, that's a great name. Is that Italian? Chiamicella? That's a great name. Says yes. I don't know what he's saying yes to.
Good. Thank you, Sanri, being on my side. Yes.
Kristen Krispy Kreme Colmore. Yes. Colmore than Otto. Oh, okay, fine. I mean, Otto's, they're all just the worst.
They're all bad.
It's a really low bar.
All bad.
Maybe Criston Cole is like a tiny percentage worse than Otto Hightower.
Yeah.
But basically
Otto is introduced and you hate him right away, but then Cole's like, oh, maybe I can like him, and then he turns into the absolute worst shitbag, and so you're let down, and then you don't like him anymore.
And he's horrible to the children and blah blah blah. But we haven't even talked about the children. Alicent has like 4 kids. We haven't seen one of them yet. Are they going to bring Daeron in?
Why don't we talk about that with predictions?
That's true.
We'll wait for that.
Joe Magician says Otto is an evil politician. Kristen is an evil cop. They're both awful in their unique ways. Kristen hurts on a more micro level. Otto on a macro. Interesting. I like that. Ciao from Alan. There we go. Yeah, I like that comparison. Yeah. Although Kristen has a macro level thing. I mean, he crowns Aegon king, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, his relevance really booms in this.
It does suddenly boom.
Yeah.
Where did it? Oh my god, it's so hard to bloomin' summarize this because it's just so much. Yeah. It's so insane.
Yep.
But basically, there are babies. There's questions about Rhaenyra's children, where did they come from, who was their father, and there's a big feud between Alicent and Rhaenyra, and it's Team Green, that's Alicent, and Team Black, that's Rhaenyra. Have you noticed I'm in black? And essentially Viserys dies. I'm skipping to that.
You're skipping a bunch. Yeah, I was going to say we're skipping over a bunch. We're skipping over.
Well, there's like the Driftmark.
Yeah, we have to talk about situation. We have to talk for a second about
the White Worm. I mean, there's so much to talk about.
Yeah, but I just wanted. So Daemon ends up marrying Laenor's sister. They have children together. Both. They do. One of which is a dragon rider. The other one is not.
Yeah.
Laena had been riding Vhagar.
Yes.
Laena dies in childbirth.
Well, she gets Vhagar to burn her. She's Dracarys Vhagar. Yeah, so
she would have died in childbirth, and then she ends up having Vhagar.
In fact, I've just taken a sip from my Dracarys.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Very nice. So at her funeral, Rhaenyra finally decides it's time for me to hook up with my uncle over here because I love him so much in such ways that I should not love my uncle. And then they decide to work with Laenor and have him disappear.
Yep. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. He appears
to be dead, but they just need him out of the way.
Yeah.
And then they have a very Valerian wedding. Have babies together themselves.
I loved that Valyrian wedding because I want to know all about Valyrian shit. I want to know more.
The ties.
I know about because obviously there was blood. There was like a blood rite that they did. That was cool. I want more. We've just had a reply from Joe about Kristen divulges into an evil politician. At that point, they're probably equal, though. Otto gets my eye for starting it all. Yes. Kristen for making it worse. Yes, agree on that.
They're both bad. I just think Kristen is like more hateable.
Probably.
Yeah.
So we've got that. So I honestly feel like I'm trying to describe an episode of a soap opera.
So much.
It's crazy.
Rhaenyra and Daemon end up having 2 kids.
They do.
And she's pregnant with a 3rd. She is. When shit hits the fan.
Yeah, shit hits the fan. They're having a lovely family dinner. We haven't even mentioned the amazingness that is Helena.
Oh yeah.
Dreamer Helena.
So Alicent's kids marry each other.
Aegon and Helena. And then there's Aemond, who I have a wee little fella here. I've got him on my thing here. Because he's just a legend. And also
he's so cute.
He's also kind of like weirdly hot.
There is something, I don't know. I
don't know why.
He doesn't do a lot for me. He's got a weird long face thing, but the character just has that like bad boy
at all. Edge. He's in Saltburn, and in Saltburn he's such a weird like who's this guy? And then you're like he's here. Oh, I don't want to spoil it, but he's like the best friend of Barry Keoghan, if that's how you say that name. The main guy, he's the best friend of him at Oxford, like a maths.
Oh, very briefly.
He's lonely at the start of the film.
Yes.
But I was like, who is that guy? And obviously, my ADHD self immediately started Googling. I was like, oh my God, it's Aemon Targaryen.
I knew him from The Last Kingdom.
Oh, I didn't watch that.
Baby Monk.
Okay. Baby Monk. Sam Rickson says, I like the long face so much it made me like Aemon. Ooh, why the long face? It's hot.
I matched my dragon long face.
And I love the fact that Aemond is an anagram of Daemon, and he clearly just has the hots for his step uncle. Is that what he is? What is Dick?
You'd be his uncle.
No, it's just his uncle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Henry can't help it.
We love who we love.
We love who we love. There will be no kink shaming here.
There will be no kink shaming here. None.
But they have a really nice dinner. There's hilarious dancing between Helena and Jace. Jace? Who is Jace? Jace is Rhaenyra's first child by not Laenor, but Harwin Strong.
But Laenor to everybody else.
But Laenor
on paper.
To everyone else. On officially.
Yes.
They also have Lucerys and Joffrey. Joffrey.
Mm-hmm.
And she has Aegon and Viserys by Daemon.
She's a baby maker. She's just popping out babies. Yeah, 5.
It's a log ride.
She's pregnant with her 6th.
Yeah. Oh my god. I
know. I know.
Yeah. I would not want to be a queen in Westeros.
Mm-hmm.
So they have this like dinner. And there's like they kind of make amends a bit. Viserys is like, you will be friends before I die, and he's in a bad way. He's ill. He's basically got leprosy. I think they confirmed that's what they've got. That is a change from the books, but I must say it was amazingly done. And Paddy Considine, where's the justice for him? Why has he not had a million awards? He was incredible.
Was exceptional. He was so good.
He was really good.
Yeah.
But that is his last night on Earth. The kids were dicks to each other, and there was nearly bloodshed at the table once Viserys had to go to bed. And that's when Viserys dies. Not before accidentally saying something that apparently,
well, I wouldn't say accidentally.
No, not accidentally. As in, like, he says it, but he thinks he thinks it's Rhaenyra he's talking to about a prophecy, which we'll get to. We want to talk about later. I haven't mentioned the prophecy yet because I feel like it's a whole other subject. This isn't going to be an hour long, is it? Oh my god!
It will be an hour.
I'm so naive. I was like,
take a little cue out of my book and start just talking faster. It'll be fine.
We'll do it like Gilmore Girls. We'll just talk really, really fast.
That's all I do. That's how I work. That's how I roll. Yeah.
So he's talking to Alicent, thinks it's Rhaenyra, and accidentally kind of says something about the prince that was promised. We'll get into that. And
Aegon.
And Aegon, he mentions Aegon, and Alicent's like, wait, our son Aegon? And honestly, I have watched this now like 3 times, 4 times, and fairly recently, and I'm still a bit like, no, you can't. You can't hear what he said. And
you can't
immediately
like
think,
the episode a few episodes before she's like, you are no son of mine. Yeah. Pretty much ready to disown him because he's a terrible he's
a rapist and a drunkard and awfulness.
Yeah.
And she covers up for his rapey crimes.
Yeah.
And he likes children fighting in Flea Bottom and probably has fathered a few of bastards in the children fighting pits. He's a terrible person.
Yes.
But also, I can't hear what Viserys, King Paddy, says. I want to know what other people think. Do you think that what he says definitely sounds like someone saying, I think our son should be king? Because I just can't. I can't hear it and be like, oh, yeah. Even taken out of context, even if I didn't know, I was trying to think, what would I think if I'd never heard of the prince that was promised, and therefore I know the context? What would I
think it's just people hearing what they want to hear.
I know, but it really is like, I just feel like it's do you know what I mean? I just feel like it's really reaching. And obviously that we don't hear of that in the books. But that is the reason that the TV show gives us that
Alicent finally flips, but her father had been petitioning Aegon all the way through.
Yeah. He's been saying, you've got to put Aegon ready, because Rhaenyra, once she comes into power, she's going to put all your children to sword. And that's bullshit as well. On what planet? Like, what? Why would she do that? No. More reasons why he's the worst, basically.
He's not good.
He's not a good guy. He's a bad guy.
Yeah.
Bad, Otto, bad. So yeah, I do still want to know, do you think that well, it's quite clear that what Viserys said could be interpreted as please put Aegon on the throne? I think it's a massive reach, and
I think every viewer agrees with you. I think everyone was like throwing their drinks at the television. Come on, Allison.
Like, it's not even
Come on.
I feel like it's not even like a gray area. It's just fully like he just didn't say that at all.
She just didn't understand.
She didn't understand. And I don't know, was it just wishful thinking on her part? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But either way, he dies and they keep it secret. They lock Rhaenys, who is staying at the Red Keep. They lock her in her room. She wasn't at the family dinner though, was she? Interesting. She wasn't invited. And they lock her in. They put all the servants away and they keep Viserys' death a secret. In the book, it's like a week.
Oh yeah, it's a long time. He's like
it's
stinky.
A long time. He's
the
stinky.
Body is stinky.
And they plot to put Aegon as king. In the show, there's this crazy chase that really divided people. What do you think, guys? I didn't mind it. It was interesting, and it kind of Beth is a no. Is a no.
I didn't like it at all. It felt like a waste of an episode. And actually, one thing
that happens in the book, they can't find him in the book. He's out in Flea Bottom.
Entire chase with the anyway. I think they did it to sort of have the conflict between Eric and Eric.
Exactly. So these are two people we need to mention: Eric and Eric, twin Kingsguard. That was it. And they, and one defects. One is Eric is the personal guard of Aegon. And he hates him so much that he defects to Rhaenyra. He frees Rhaenys from her bedroom prison and also steals the crown of Viserys and takes it to Rhaenyra and swears his allegiance to her. Yes! Ha! Pretty good. But Eric's like, nah, I'm staying here.
I'm gonna stay.
I'm gonna stay
over here.
Yeah. And so they Alicent does crown her son. With Aegon the Conqueror's crown, making sure the Blackfire sword, which is the sword of kings, is there. They do it at the Dragon Pit. And then, beware of the beast below, says Helena. Kaboom!
Beware the beast beneath the boards.
Beast beneath the boards. The beast below is an episode of Doctor Who. Sorry.
Everyone. Oh, there you
go. But yeah, beware the beast beneath the boards. Can't say it. And Rhaenys, who's been looking for her dragon Meleys, the Red Queen, just basically kills a bunch of small folk.
I'm smashing her way through.
Yeah. It's just like kablam. And kills a bunch of people and then roars at the royal family, having just been crowned by Criston Cole. And then doesn't do anything. She's like, this is not my fight to start, Rhaenyra.
Unfortunately.
She could have just killed them right there. She could have ended it.
Then that would have ended the show, and that would have been that. So,
I know. Still,
thematically, it didn't really work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then she goes off to Rhaenyra, who then gets the news that her dad is dead, and she goes into labor with her baby, a girl called Visenya, but the baby dies.
Premature. It was a premature.
It was labor. A premature. She goes immediately to labor with the shock of hearing that her dad is dead and that her crown has been stolen.
Yeah.
And the baby also comes out. We get an interesting thing because it looks kind of dragony and misshapen, like a lot of dragon babies sometimes are.
I know. It made me wonder if Emma's babies had come out that way.
Maybe, indeed. We get a lot of premature babies looking like that. And she finds out and she crowns herself, and it's basically
it's so sad. Damon like crowns her at her daughter's funeral.
I know.
And then Eric shows up with the crown.
No, it's Eric.
Pardon me.
Eric. I remember it because Eric starts with an A and Aegon starts with an A. And so Eric and Aegon are friends, whereas Eric and Aegon are not friends. That's how I remember which one is which.
Gotcha.
That's how you do it. But she crowns herself and gets people to swear allegiance, and she's like, we need to get people on my side. And so she's like, we need to get messages out. And even though she's been I would say she's been a bit of a lazy heir in waiting. She's not exactly gone around trying to involve herself in ruling or getting to know her people.
None of them have.
None of them have. I know Viserys did not.
She was busy having babies. That's what she was told her role was.
I know, but she and Viserys have not done, like, you think about the number of tours around Westeros that Jaehaerys did, getting to know lords, talking to them, getting people on side. She has not done that. That would have been such good PR for her to be like, I'm your heir. I want to get to know you. Mm-hmm. She didn't do anything.
That's her. She does have entitlement, like I said. Yeah. That's one of the places. But at the same time, all of them are entitled at this point.
Yeah.
And again, like, she was pregnant for how she has like 6 children, 5 plus but her still, pregnancy. So she didn't have a lot of time.
She's still the heir presumptive, and I think she should have gone on her dragon and visited a few lords, gone to the Baratheons and been like, hey, la 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 la, and gone to other people around.
Yeah, I think she was naive. Lannisters. I think she genuinely didn't believe that this is what was gonna happen.
I just think she didn't. Anyway, I just don't think Viserys set a particularly good example. He stays a lot in King's Landing and doesn't really leave.
Yeah, he doesn't do a lot.
But her sons Jace and Luke volunteer to help to get messages to people. Let's deliver them in person. And Jace he's the older one, so he gets sent. What's his dragon called? I can't remember.
Oh my god.
I know Luke has Arax. So Jace is sent north to the Vale and to the north. And Luke, he said, you just go to House Baratheon, they're nearby. It's a short journey. You go and treat with Lord Baratheon. He will welcome us because we are kin. And you are his nephew. He's not really. It's Vermax. Thank you. Vermax sounds like a type of like vaccination medication. Have you had your dose of Vermax recently? Joff has Tyraxes. Sanrixian. She just knows all the dragons. She knows all the dragons.
She's the best.
Yeah. And so Luke goes to House Baratheon with a message that, can I just say, Lord Baratheon cannot read because he is illiterate. And his maester says it. And also Luke goes without even an offer of marriage because he can't.
Yeah, but she didn't expect.
No, I know, but I'm just saying.
She didn't expect to have to barter. She thought that he would be willing because the Baratheons are Rhaenys family.
I know.
And Rhaenys is their grandmom. Kind of.
I know. I'm just saying, but the problem is that Aemond is already there with Vhagar, who he has paired with.
Yes.
Having lost an eye because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Whole other thing. Mm-hmm. And he's already there, and he's brokered a marriage deal with one of the Baratheon daughters. What they call the storm lady storms. What are they called?
Stormlord's daughters? I don't know.
I
don't know. Anyway.
Lady storms. That sounds like what happens when I have PMT. I'm in my lady storm.
We call it PMS here. So that's what she means when she does PMT. She means PMS.
PMS. We say PMS too, but anyway. Premenstrual tension is what it's called here.
We premenstrual syndrome.
Anyway, we'll talk about that when we're off air. Anyway,
probably on one of our podcasts sometime.
Yeah. So Aemon's already there, and he's already pissed because it was Luke who kind of cut out his eye. And Boris Baratheon's like, don't have a fight in my hall, and also you come here demanding that I pay allegiance to you, and you're not even really my nephew because blah 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 blah. Mr. J says, I think the lords should have honored their vows. Yeah, exactly. They fucking should. And he does not honor his vows.
He shouldn't have to bribe to have a bribe to do it. He should just do it.
I know.
And he swore allegiance to Rhaenyra.
Oh, look at my hair. It's really big. Yeah, he did swear allegiance to Rhaenyra, so she should just be able to say, hey, whatever.
I know, but kind of cut out his eye. I laughed too, Sandry. Kind of maybe cut out his eye. It was no big deal.
Yeah, he kind of just cut out his eye. Overall. And Aemon's like, hey, you cut out my eye, you big butthead.
Yeah.
And so, and they like nearly fight, and Boris Baratheon's like, not in my hall. And so they go out into the skies.
Take it to the skies.
Take it to the skies. And that genuinely, this bit was really exciting, this bit, because they're flying around and Jace is on Arrax and Vhagar's there, and you just see the monster that is Vhagar, like so big. And it makes you realize, like, because Balerion was bigger. So you're like, what?
And then she has some dinner while she's up there.
She does. Aemond can't quite control Vhagar, and Arrax can't quite be controlled. I know Joe Magician actually has a video out right now. I haven't watched it yet, about do the Targaryens actually have control over their dragons? Because I know Viserys, doesn't he say at one point, like, dragons are something we shouldn't have trifled with, like the idea that we have power over them. He says this to Rhaenyra, like the idea that we
shouldn't have trifled with them, but the idea.
Pretty sure the quote is that he does say, like, they are a power we should never have trifled with.
I don't know. He says our power over them is an illusion.
Yeah,
he does say that. But anyway,
if someone can check on that,
yeah. Either way, because they wouldn't be kings and queens of Westeros
because Viserys only rode on Balerion one time, and then like Balerion died.
Yeah,
so he's not really dragony.
He rode the dragon to death.
He rode him to death.
Balerion was like, "Wow, this guy's dull. I'm gonna just
I'm done with this." But basically, there is an accident. There's Vhagar has an accident in the sky, and eats Arrax and Luke. And that's the end of Luke. And I feel it's really sad.
He just didn't feed her before the trip. It just didn't work out.
I mean, in the books, it's pretty much.
It seems intentional. Yeah,
it seems intentional, and in the show, it's like, was it?
As you said,
and I think it's really interesting. Again, and I really want to watch this video of Joe Magicians, because it is like, do the Targaryens genuinely have control over their dragons? Like, they want them to serve, but as the saying from goes, a dragon is not a slave. Oh, here we go. Sanrixian has it. The idea that we control the dragons is an illusion. They're a power man should never have trifled with, one that brought Valyria to its doom. If we don't mind our own histories, it will do the same to us. I think that's an amazing thought there, and I feel like we could do a whole live stream just on that quote.
Yes.
But it's basically left there with Rhaenyra receiving the news that her son is silent. We don't hear what she hears. We just see that she's being told
he is not coming home.
He's not coming home. He's dead. And it was just meant to be. She says to him before he leaves, "You're not a fighter. You're delivering a message."
Yeah.
And it's just,
it's the first. And she says it should be an easy one, and then it's not.
It's not. And it's the first blood. The first blood has been shed between the Blacks and the Greens. And that is essentially where season 1 left. Oh my God, we did it in 45 minutes. We summarized season 1.
Arguably, Aegon. I think Aemond would argue the first bloodshed was his eye, but
that was just kids fighting. And also, he started it. So by stealing Vhagar.
How do you steal? We should not. He didn't steal Vhagar. He was allowed. She let him on.
Oh yeah. I know.
Yeah.
It's I would love to do a whole episode just on, do they control their dragons or not? Because I don't think that they do.
No.
They say Dohaeris.
No more than you can control even your dog. Like, they can be trained, but it doesn't mean you can control their behavior.
I would like to be able to control my cat.
Exactly.
But I cannot.
Exactly.
He is seriously cute, but he likes to eat my pens and push them around the house, and also eat Lego, which is really annoying. I'm just I've got a big bottle of water here, so you're gonna hear a noise. Ready? That was a real anticlimax. It just went like time.
So I'm gonna read. I'll read Mr. J's question.
Yes, do.
Instead of, so we haven't actually gotten on to predictions yet. I don't know. We'll talk a little bit about them, but his question is, instead of asking you what you hope to see in HOTD season 2, what do you hope isn't going to be included in HOTD season 2? What do we not want to see?
I don't know. I don't want to see. Actually, I do know.
Okay.
There was one scene in the first episode that I found so horrendously upsetting. It's not the one you're thinking of, and I never want to see it again. And that is Daemon Targaryen, aka Matt Smith, having sex
again.
He was having sex with the White Worm.
Yeah, Mazaria.
Yeah. Oh God, we haven't even mentioned her. She's a spy. Blah blah blah. But she's also like a whore who becomes a spy.
Yeah.
She was a whore. She becomes a spy. She was Daemon's whore, and now she's
a
spy in
for
a
while.
manse.
Yeah.
And for some reason, she's fighting for the rights of children. I found that whole thing where she's like, "I will give you Aegon," because she's hiding Aegon in that episode where he's hiding. "I will give him to you if you promise that you will never let a child go fighting in the pits." I was like, "What? What is this negotiation?" That was weird.
She's
Did anyone else think that was weird?
I thought
it was a weird thing to say. Like,
I got the impression that
do what she says.
She had been through hell as being sold over and over and over again,
mm-hmm.
and she was just trying to stop people from being forced into the same life that she had to have.
I know, but she had no real leverage. Like,
she did. She knew where Aegon was. She had all the leverage.
Otto, all she has to do is hand him over, and then Otto's like, "Yes, I will definitely protect the children in King's Landing."
Yeah, but they have a rapport. They've had a rapport. They have stuff happening between them.
I don't know. I thought it was just a bit weak. I want to know what other people think. Do they? I just thought it was a bit.
I don't hate.
He doesn't have to do what.
I don't think it's empty, but I mean, I think they can do better, and I think they will do better with her character next season.
I hope so. Do you think they will change her accent? Because that bothered a lot.
I kind of wonder, prediction-wise, this won't be season 2, but I kind of wonder if she's going to be influential in the rise of Gaiman.
I was thinking pale,
and maybe that's like the kid connection with the Commonborn and stuff. So maybe they're just trying to intro that.
I actually think she's gonna be the one who puts Gaiman pale hair
on the throne.
On the throne.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's what I was thinking too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't want to see Matt Smith as Daemon Targaryen ever having, because that was just hot. Like that scene. He
has sex later. It's not as awkward.
It's not as awkward, but that scene was just like, ugh.
And he's fucking his niece in that scene, so that's so much worse, really.
No, I can't tell whether
your face when I said
that. It was. I mean, it wasn't a good sex scene anyway.
No,
really.
Yeah, what do I not want to see? I want them to. Blood and Cheese is coming. And I want them to do that without showing me a child losing their head. I don't want to see that.
I don't want to see that.
I know that there has to be gore. I know the series is known for just being in your face with gore. I don't need to see that.
Yeah.
That's my big. I hope that they do some of these things in somewhat tasteful ways, because also there's the death later of is it baby Maelor? Who's like ripped apart.
He's ripped apart.
Bad later.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to see that. Who's
Maelor again?
He's Aegon's youngest baby. With him.
Oh God, because I was like, Daeron, because there's Daeron the Daring.
Yeah.
Are they gonna bring the fourth child of Alicent? And do you know, is that confirmed or not? Because there is.
I thought he had been cast.
I mean,
probably there's people.
But then I'm sure I've heard people say that he's not going to join the show. Why did they leave him out? I don't. I mean, I know he's in Old Town.
Maybe just too many players.
But
I don't know. I don't know. I expect that he'll be there, but maybe that's just me being hopeful. I don't know if any of our viewers have any insight on that.
Yeah,
I think he has to be there. I think he's so important.
Yeah.
So
because he like helps with the war, like he's a dragon rider.
Yes, yeah. And I kind of wonder if he'll come back kind of around the same time they reintroduce or bring up the dragon seeds. Do you think the dragon seeds will be in season 2, or do you think that'll be season 3? Where do you think season 2 will?
Isn't the dragon seeds almost quite one of the first things that they think of as Team Black? So if you don't know, the dragon seeds, hopefully we're not spoiling it for everybody, but the dragon seeds,
spoilers everything, guys. Sorry.
Spoilers everything.
Even more.
They are the Team Black are like, we've got loads of dragons, and there are people on Dragonstone who are Targaryen bastards, basically, and might be able to bond with the dragon. And so we could use them. I think that's fairly early on in the war. They're basically counting their dragons.
Daemon sort of says they have more riders, but we have more dragons. So if we can get these dragons in the air with the rider, we can do more. I have to reread that part. I don't know where everything falls.
I feel like it's early on, so I reckon they might be this season.
Season will end with the death of Rhaenys.
I think so too.
The queen that never was.
So I think
the dragon should be this season.
Yeah,
dragon seeds.
I think so too. Yeah.
I think they showed who was cast, didn't they? As those traitors.
Yeah, I am concerned though. I'm quite concerned that there is no Nettles.
Nettles erasure. I'm not happy about it.
Yeah, I think they're moving her. They're giving her to, is it Baylor?
And I'll be pretty upset
because Nettles is amazing. Sam Rick says we have casting for everyone but Nettles, and we've seen in the adverts and stuff and the teaser trailers,
we see Baylor being.
We see Baylor on.
Rhaena.
Rhaena.
Really?
Is it Rhaena?
She doesn't have a dragon. Oh,
whoever it is that has.
I see. So they're so Baylor has Moon Dancer, but maybe they'll have Rhaena take a dragon in the way that Nettles took the dragon.
Oh, Sheep Stealer.
So the role.
Oh,
interesting.
Because obviously Moon Dancer is too young to be ridden in the books.
At least in the books, yeah.
In the books.
But she's on Moon Dancer in the trailer.
Oh God! So they're not. Do you think so? We're gonna have Rhaena as instead of Nettles?
Maybe.
Boo! Nettles is awesome.
I know.
Why? Why would they do that?
Why? I don't know, but we're at 57 minutes.
I know. I know. I figured we'd go a bit late, but why would they cut out Nettles? That doesn't make sense to me.
I'm curious. I felt rewatching season 1. I felt like the show was really good at pacing. That it was. Everything was planned out and poignant. The only bullshit thing in the whole series for me was probably that chase with Aegon. I hated that. It was like a waste of an episode to me. There was nothing major plotty happening. So that one felt like it fell apart a bit. But every other episode felt really poignant and purposeful and important and driven and focused, where we had Game of Thrones that was time wasting a bit. Right. Yeah, so I feel like I'm hoping that this one feels the same, that this season is also really like impactful. Every episode has a point to get to keep the story moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a Patreon question that asks, will we see more of Laenor in season 2? Because obviously he says, I loved the twist of his fake death, and I'm intrigued to see if they do anything more with that.
I'm confused about this because if he's alive, then his dragon can't have another rider.
Yeah.
And Seasmoke needs another rider.
Yeah.
Important rider. I suspect that we will get news that Laenor has died overseas. That's my
There are some people who believe that Laenor will come back pretending to be the person.
He's been cast.
Is it Alan? Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they've shown him. He looks older than Laenor even. He looks like he could be Corlys's brother.
Interesting.
And to me, I don't know, maybe I'm misremembering, but I don't know. I think we'll hear that Laenor died overseas. Maybe that I'm hoping that like
what's the point of the twist then? What's the point of it?
Just that he got to live a little bit. But I'm hoping that
can you tell from my face that I don't like it?
I know. I'm hopeful that Rhaenys and Corlys get news that he was over there. He did escape. He lived, so that they can be reaffirmed in their trust in Rhaenyra.
Yeah, that would be nice.
And then he comes over and he gets to ride Seasmoke. Alan, I mean. I'm curious what they'll do with his parentage, though, because it almost seems like they're going to make it look like Alan was Corlys's child before he ever married Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
Or Rhaenys, I mean. Rhaenys. Too many R's.
Too many R's. There's one thing we haven't mentioned, which I think we do, because this is something I really want to know the answer to. Because we haven't talked about the prophecy at all. And I want to know if it's going to be part of season 2. And we haven't mentioned it at all. So there's a major part of this hanging in the background is, I was about to just call him Paddy. I'm forgetting these Viserys.
No, I keep wanting to call Rhaenys Eve.
Well, basically King Paddy.
Yeah, King Paddy and his cousin Eve.
Yeah, and his cousin Eve. King Paddy says to Rhaenyra, he's like, I'm gonna make you my heir, but there's something you need to know, that there is this prophecy that Aegon the Conqueror had, that he called the Song of Ice and Fire, which is the name of the whole book series, and it's been confirmed that this is George. This is not just shit that the showrunners have made up. This is George, and I don't think that could be incorrect, because I don't think he'd allow them to take the name of his massive book series and like make it into a totally different canon. Like, it would just be so weird if they did that.
Yeah.
That Aegon had this dream that a terrible winter was going to come and something dark was going to come out of it, and they needed a Targaryen on the throne to unite the realm. And this is why Aegon conquered Westeros in the first place. That he brought Westeros, which was lots of kingdoms all together, but he conquered them and made them
unite
one.
The realm against
the coming darkness. And then there's like he's got it hidden in his little dagger, the prince that was promised is blood of my blood, blah 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 blah. So it's something to do with the prince that was promised.
Yeah. And so that same prophecy comes up three times, right?
Yeah,
once when Viserys is just chatting with Rhaenyra, and then another time on his deathbed, Viserys' deathbed. But importantly, also when Rhaenyra is talking to Daemon.
Yeah.
And Daemon doesn't, even though he was Viserys' heir for a long time, he doesn't know about the prophecy.
He does not know. In fact, they have a bit that I didn't like. His reaction is that he strangled her a bit. I did not. I don't know. I didn't love that bit. So I don't know. What did other people think? Did you care for it?
No, I mean, obviously it's awful to see, but I think it just shows Daemon's character. If someone says, "Oh, you were never actually meant to be the heir. He never told you." He felt mocked, and so he choked her.
I don't know. I just don't think he would do that. I don't know. Anyway,
he would do that. Yeah.
But yeah, so that is the prophecy, and it's essentially referring to what we then have later on in Game of Thrones, the Long Night,
where there is ironically not a Targaryen uniting the realm.
There is no Targaryen uniting the realm. But it changes why all the kings of Westeros have basically done anything. Like, it changes.
Supposedly. The thing is, because we see this happen, we don't know if Rhaenyra passes this prophecy on or not. We don't know. Eventually, obviously, it seems like the prophecy gets lost. So it's a word of mouth prophecy.
It is it's a very silly thing, but I have a theory that Septon Barth wrote it down and put it in the libraries, and that's how Rhaegar finds out about it. But that's for another time. Because those are people who've not read the books might be like, what? But do we think it's going to be part of season 2? Because something I am very excited about seeing in season 2 is the fact that we're going to see stuff in the north. Although I have a horrible feeling we're going to have like 5 seconds in the north. And we're just
I feel the opposite. I think you're going to have too much time there, and it's just not as relevant.
Oh, I'm so excited about the north. I think it's so relevant. I can't wait for it, because Jace goes north and treats with Cragen Stark. It looks like we're going to see the Wall, which I was not expecting.
I was not expecting it.
Septon Barth! The Hot Priest. Yes. That's coming out in our next episode for Maine.
Paddy King.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about Septon Barth in our next main episode. I'm just finishing editing that one. In fact, that does feature Sanrixian, the amazing Sanrixian.
Our beautiful Sanrixian.
Yeah. So I'm excited that we might going to see the Wall. I'm excited we might see Winterfell. I'm excited. I love Winterfell. I love the Wall. And there's so much stuff that happens when Jace goes north. I'm excited about the possibility that his dragon is going to lay a clutch of eggs. I want to know, are they going to do something with Sarah Snow? Because
I don't think they will.
Stuff might happen there. But I want it to.
I know I do too. But I am curious if Jace knows the prophecy, and that's why he asks to see the wall to see where this darkness could be coming from.
But I think that I reckon Rhaenyra will tell him, and that's why when he's in the north. And I reckon Craig and Stark, I think the Starks know about it too, because I think when Torrhen Stark, the king who knelt to Aegon the Conqueror.
I agree. Yeah.
I think they
off topic for the moment, but I agree. I think that he knelt because
I think they were like, yes, some shit's gonna happen. And you know, I think the Starks know some stuff. They may not have the exact same prophecy, but I reckon the Starks know things. So I think I'm just excited. I'm excited about that. I think I'm actually more excited about going north than anything else.
I'm excited to see the north, but I'm not, because again, like, this series is very central to King's Landing and the Riverlands and things like that, that I don't want it to get stuck in the north. I don't want it to feel like Game of Thrones, where they're dragging their feet on a storyline that's not relevant overall. I don't want it to feel that way. What do you guys think, viewers? What do you guys think? What are you most looking forward to for season 2? I'm just excited to dragons. More dragons. I really hope we get more songs to the dragons. That would be nice.
Yes, that song was awesome.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to write a dragon song, please do. I had one other question that I wanted to ask you, and now I can't think what it was. I think I was going to ask you something about but stuff happening in season 2, but I can't remember what I was about to ask, which is really annoying.
Episode 1, where do you think it will end off?
Where will it? So I mean, I think we've seen shots of Rhaenyra looking out over Storm's End. We've seen the big penis of Storm's End. If that may be cryptic, but Storm's End has a huge tower that looks like a big cock, and she's looking over it. So I think that's where we're going to begin there. But I honestly don't know. I don't know about the pacing. It's the pacing of season 1 was weird. It was good, but it was weird, and we missed a bunch of stuff, but also got loads of details on other things. So I honestly don't know. I think I'm the worst person to ask that question. What do you think?
Where do I think episode 1 will end?
Episode 1. Where do you think episode 1's going to end?
I think it's going to end at, like, blood and cheese will happen, and it will cut to credit.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Because it's definitely
or it'll be Rhaenyra reading Daemon's letter of a son for a son and getting the news or something. It'll be like something like that, with a big, impactful, like, this has started. No one is.
It has begun. Oh my God.
The children are not safe.
It is the most depressing story ever.
Yeah.
It is not. It's not a nice story.
No.
I think if you don't know the story, you're just going to feel very sad at the end of the I'm genuinely intrigued how they're going to end the whole show, because
it goes past the dance, so that's why they didn't call it the Dance of the Dragons, and they're calling it.
Are they going to do that? But basically, everyone loses and everything's the worst. That is the moral of the story.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Everything's terrible.
If the show, similarly to Game of Thrones, if the show will just continue and overlap or go into Fire and Blood 2, which we don't have yet.
I don't think it will. Because if they were just going to do Fire and Blood, they could just have started at Aegon's Conquest, which they're starting now. They asked
the showrunner, are you going to go past the dance? And they said, we didn't call it the Dance of the Dragons for a reason. We called it House of the Dragon because we intend to talk about the House of the Dragon. Essentially, if the show is successful, they can keep it going as long as they want to.
That's true. But I don't know. I don't think people will be that interested. I think the whole thing will end. Because then it just becomes politically weird in other ways. You've got the Peaks and the Aegon the Third. I mean, I want that. But how many other people would give?
I want Viserys coming back from Lys. Yeah, that's true. Like, I want all that. I want it. Give me it.
I want them to just keep going with Fire and Blood 2.
But also, we have Dunk and Egg.
We do have Dunk and Egg. Filming has begun.
It's begun.
This is exciting.
Lots of content.
And I'm sure I saw an advert on something. I had an advert for something pop up. Oh no, yeah.
The 10,000 ships.
No, it was something else entirely that I'm just I'm confusing my fandoms. Okay. I saw an advert for someone to play Henry Creel, who is a character from Stranger Things, because they're doing a whole thing about him. But I was like, oh yeah, they're casting for that, so there we go. But yeah, I don't know how I feel about them going too far beyond the dance. I would watch all of it, to be honest, but
yeah, season 8 taught us anything. It's that we watch it, even though we just keep hoping it'll get better. The hope that kills you.
I know. Every time I think of season 8, I just get sad. So let's not end on that note.
No. Thank you, everybody, though, for tuning in to our very first live stream. I was very nervous.
Yeah, we were quite nervous, but we're good. And we will be back every Saturday at the same time.
Yes.
We're going to talk about the episode just aired and what to expect for the next time. So it'll prepare you for every episode just coming. And we'll be here in your listening ears and in your faces on Saturdays, Saturday night, Saturday evening, afternoon, wherever you are, or Sunday if you're somewhere east of me. So prepare yourselves, get yourselves ready for us. And at some point I'll drop the latest episode of Kiss by Fire.
Yeah.
Main one.
All right. Good.
But have you got anything else you want to say? Do you want to sign off with anything?
Thanks for coming, and we are excited. I am excited. We are excited to cover the season with you guys.
We so are. Yeah, I can't wait. And oh my god, it's tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Oh my god.
The waiting is over. It's been 2 years.
Has it really?
Yeah, I was thinking about this and I was like, yeah, it's been 2 years. I used to set my TV up in my bedroom so I could watch it in bed. I could just wake up and then like turn on my little side light and then just watch it, and then I could go back to sleep again. So
dedication. Dedication.
I know. Yeah. I know.
All right.
Anyway, we'll see you guys next week. See you next Saturday.
Thanks for coming.
And take care, everybody. And may the force be with you, or something. Something House of the Dragony. Whatever. Bye.